Hi, this is Spectrasoul. We're at Red Bull Studios London and you're watching D&B TV.
We've known Darren and Tom for a long time. Tom's obviously part of Shogun Audio with us. We're all good mates with each other on the label. Tom does different stuff, he takes stuff and turns it on his head, so it's a perfect kind of person to get in to do that. Same with dBridge, we wanted him to do a mix for us for ages. Been big fans of his work forever. He was an inspiration to us when we were starting out. I don't really think of it like that, but we're really good mates with him now. I can call him up and chat about anything, and we both do. And he calls us and whatever. And I look back to when I was first starting buying his records. I'd buy on site before you even listen to it. So it's kind of an honour really to have him on board. And then also James Zabiela, we did a remix for his label a while back for Pedestrian, and we've had a kind of on-off chatty relationship on Twitter and friends of friends. So, and was really supportive of our original music on Delay No More anyway. So we've had kind of a good dialogue with him. So it was a good opportunity to get him on board.
Who else is on board? Yeah, comics. Again, we've known George for a while now. We let him loose. We just let him do what he wanted with it. We were talking about this in the studio the other day. It's turned into quite an old kind of 90s dance inspired break BTS kind of mix, which is again gives the whole project a nice edge. So yeah, overall, good host of remixes.
When I do remixes, I tend to do a few different versions. I probably started it maybe 3-4 times before I was actually happy with the one that I ended up submitting. I tried to take it down a sort of maybe a little bit more chilled out, even more chilled out than the original in some ways, but that didn't feel right for me. And I've been kind of working with sort of kits and things like those kind of samples for a long time, and that was the approach I took. But then I thought, you know what, no. I'm going to get some breaks out, some breaks that I haven't used in a long time, some breaks I've wanted to use for a long time. So I ended up using there's an old Boomerang break on there, and it just seemed to work. I think I changed the key actually, cause what they gave me, because I had an idea for something and it didn't fit, and being stubborn, I didn't want to change the key of what I was doing, so I changed the key of their stuff to work around what I was doing. I kind of kept the original track in there. Almost like if you listen to it from the beginning, it almost sounds like the original, but then it sort of morphs into my remix. So I almost think I wanted to kind of get that recognition from it for people who know the track, but then just it gets flipped. So yeah, that was something else, my general approach to it.
Remixes, you don't really get a lot of chance to spend a great deal of time on them as you would with maybe a solo track, because it's given to you when you accept the remix. It's like, this is what you've got to do, these are the samples, we need it by then, so you're up against the clock. So to be perfectly honest, I rolled it out quite quickly for me, so it took me about a couple of weeks. The idea came together pretty quickly with the arrangement and everything, and then it's just getting the sort of synth patches and the transitions and the edits done. And then basically I think the last thing was I kind of had a bit of a brainstorm with the Spectrasoul guys, and they're like, oh, maybe we should put another 16 in after where it's dropped, just to lengthen out a little bit and make it a bit more dance floor. Vocal remixes, they kind of tend to write themselves, especially with remixes. You can't force a track to be what it's not. If a track's writing itself, you just got to let it go. You just got to let it go in the direction it's going to go. There's no point hammering a square peg into a round hole. You're just going to come up with something that it just doesn't work. So you just have to be organic with the sort of way track builds, and with this remix that definitely happened.
Receiving your own remixes is it's a bit of a mixed bag, because obviously we know the original was inside out. But at the same time, I find it quite exciting hearing someone else's take on, your music and your tracks. I think once you accept the fact that it's going to get remixed by someone, you're mentally prepared for it. But also the fact, honestly, all the guys that remixed the tracks for this project, we all had a lot of faith in anyway. They all got chosen because we like their music and we love their work.
I'll make an admission. I think every time I've received a remix of one of our tunes, I've been initially not positive, which is like quite a big admission, but it's one of those things where I live with them for a bit and then in the end I love them. And it happened with the Calibre remix of Away With Me. At first I was like not quite sure about it, and then you listen to it over and over again, you're like, actually this is really, really good. Same with when Charlie Brake remixed Alibi for us for Critical about 3 years ago or 4 years ago. When we initially heard it, I was just kind of like, I'm not really sure. I'm always a bit like unsure at first. I don't think I've ever got a remix of ours back and been like, yeah, that's amazing immediately. It's more getting your head around it, I think. It's hearing your parts that you spent so long making and creating and mixing, what have you, in a completely different way. And you're just like, it doesn't sound right, so it takes time to get your brain around it. But
I think I've had a couple. These lot made me go back in. No, well, it was done, but it was just an arrangement thing, and I had arranged it a certain way. And I think actually they road tested it. Fucking Friction hit me up, and he was just like, "Oh, do you think you could?" I was like, "Are you trying to A&R me? Are you trying to like tell me how to?" I put it on him for a bit. You trying to tell me how to make music? But to be fair, he was right. It did. It did need those. There was a couple of subtle changes that it needed. It does work better that way. But other than that, I don't think. I think I've been pretty lucky.
When it comes to having your own tunes remixed, I think it's the same as putting out your own solo tunes. You have to be very selective and you have to have quality control. Yeah, with the Childhood Memories package, it's a collaboration sort of effort between myself, Kito and Sam Frank. I had to have the Neo Signal Boys on there because I love their music and I just wanted to see how they could kind of twist something so twee and kind of sweet into something so nasty. It's not like we sit there and like, so we've got this track, who's hot? Can we get them to remix it? It's like, I'd rather still have a personal connection within the project and hand-pick people that I'm feeling and that I have a personal relationship with, because I think that makes the project, even though it's like someone else's remix, it's still intrinsically like there's some of my input in there, so just by the choice of who it was. So yeah, you have to be picky. I'm hard to please.
Dave's golden rule has got to be don't listen to the original, and I'm kind of coming around to that mantra.
Definitely.
Because you get influenced by it, and it's nicer to just look at them completely fresh.
As if they were just samples. As if they were just, nice samples that all fit together, and you know that you can do anything to them and add your own twist to them. So yeah, I would say number one is don't listen to the original, or try and keep keep away from the original as much as possible.
Be prepared to do lots of
tweaks,
because you'll often deliver a remix and then they'll come back and go, yeah, we like it, but can you do X, and then you do it, they give it to you and they go, yeah, we like that as well, but can you just do this? So you have to be prepared to do a few rounds of tweaks. And
also be prepared to have a lot of very vague directions.
Yeah. Can you just put a little element here? What sort of element do you want? Just a melody of some description. What sort of melody? I don't know. That's generally more with bigger labels. You don't get that so much if you're remixing with another drum and bass track so much.
Yeah.
But the bigger record labels generally want that kind of input.
I was just going to say, as a 3B, would just be if you get the opportunity to remix something that you might think is a bit cheesy or a bit poppy or whatever your taste.
Be objective with your choice.
As cheesy or as poppy or whatever as the original might be, that's your chance to add your own twist to it.
You have to be objective and kind of consider what you could do with it more so than what the original is, I think.
Yeah. So be open-minded.